learn as much as you can about business. I always see you can be CS for life. I think that's awesome. It is such a wonderful opportunity to get up and close with people who are running in businesses, involved in running businesses. So I feel like the more you understand about the way businesses function, that's going to help you in your business as well as the customers you serve. It can only add value to your arsenal.
You ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Howdy, folks, and thank you for joining us. You're listening to Lifetime Value, the customer success podcast, where we help you wrap up the week that was in customer success and get you off on the right foot for the one ahead of you. I am your host, the Wesley Snipes of Customer Success Podcasts. My name is Dillon Young, and this week's guest of honor is a co-host of the CS Speed Mixer and Rock, Paper, Success at CS Insider. He is a voracious reader and lover of languages, and he is not intimidated by artificial intelligence or karaoke. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Jean-Pierre Frost with us today.
Hello, hello. We in here.
Round of applause. We're going to go by JP, is that right?
JP, yes, let's do it.
JP, it is a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So JP, you and we met on LinkedIn. It's also where I found out you're about to start a new career. Is that right? Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, so I got a new position over at this wonderful company called Canary. I'm really excited to be working with them. It really coincided with me sort of getting more active on social media. And of course, they do social media management for, executives. So it's a really good opportunity. I'm really excited to just learn a lot from everyone I work with and to work with Jocelyn more closely, who's the person I knew first over from Canary. So, yeah.
Shout out to Jocelyn. Now she's going to be required to listen to this. I like that. You're creating a captive market for me.
Exactly.
JP, what are you passionate about when it comes to customer success?
When it comes to customer success, really, it's that learning factor. I think that, they always talk about curiosity is one of those elements you have to have as a CSM.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to constantly sort of facilitate this curiosity and by extension wonder. And so for me, it's about when I get to know a new customer, let's say in my book of business, it's about learning about who is this customer, what really are they looking for, and really that process of discovery, as well as just being able to learn more about their business and what it takes for them to be successful with our particular product is just, I think that's what I'm a person who loves to learn. So in essence, it all comes down to that ability to just constantly be learning from my customers. That really drives me. That's what I'm really passionate about.
What I think is interesting is it's that the age-old lesson for customer success folks of ask questions, ask questions, ask questions. And I remember this was a long time ago. I currently work in mortgage fintech. And back then I also was. But I remember my boss saying, well, do you know what your company does, within the mortgage space, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, I think it's this. I think it's that. She's like, well, haven't you asked them? And I was like, but won't that make me look stupid? Won't they lose faith in me? And I think the answer could absolutely be yes if you ask these questions in the wrong way. So I think part of the art of customer success, and I want to hear your thoughts on this, is in asking those questions in such a way that kind of bring the customer along this curiosity journey with you.
Absolutely. When somebody shells out the money, let's keep it real. When somebody shells out the money to purchase your solution, usually over some other solution that they've been using, there's a clear, reason that they're doing that. And I think that is in essence the center, the big bang, of the universe of customer success. Why did your customer purchase the product? that's literally like what they're looking to align with, whatever that they're doing. So I feel like all the efforts of a customer success manager, we're really just trying to make sure that we align with whatever that reason was that they bought, that they invested in our particular solution.
Yeah.
I
And the
agree.
best way to do that is to understand their business, right? And how your
Yes,
solution fits into that. Yeah. Totally
absolutely.
agree. Amen. JP, you're relatively new to customer success, right?
That I am.
How did you
Yeah.
find it?
I was working in retail before. The pandemic happened. I started getting that good money from the government. Ooh, I was like, I can't go back to retail, baby. This money is too good. I'm getting, the best assistance I can get. I'm eating lobster tails and
Ooh,
jumbo shrimp and
ooh,
steaks, and
all in the
I'm
same
just
meal.
having the time. Yeah, yeah, surf and turf, all the time. So I'm like, man, I cannot go back to this. So it really started through LinkedIn Learning. I was interested in sort of servant leadership. Servant leadership led to basically like Scrum Master,
Mm-hmm.
project management,
Oh, you're all over the
which
place. I
I
like it.
kept
Ooh.
going down the rabbit hole.
Uh-huh.
Then all of a sudden, now we're all into the, I found customer success. I was like, oh, what's this? And so I realized that that was just such a great opportunity to leverage all this customer facing experience that I had in the past, combining it with my love of tech, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, this is a beautiful baby. Let's go for this customer success.
JP, I hate to break it to you, but you have broken one of the laws of the Lifetime Value podcast, and that is
Oh, lovely.
being interrupted. Usually it's a work messaging platform, Slack, Teams,
Ooh.
but you were more egregious and you let your phone ring. And
Oh
so
my God.
usually
That's me, baby.
usually the
Hold on.
game I understand you're Mr. Popular, but look, so usually the
I
game
don't
we
even know
play
who
is
called me. I don't even know who called me. So I told my mama, I told everybody I was on this podcast. My mom was so upset. She's like, okay, baby, I'll talk to you later. Go ahead and do that podcast.
all right. Well,
So
then
somebody was bad, but I muted my phone. We good. We good.
the usual game we play is truth or dare,
Let's do it.
where the dare would be for you to tell us what the message was that you received. That is not an applicable option. So instead, you have to choose truth, which is you have to
Okay.
tell us your worst customer experience and the worst customer experience you have ever had. Now, you were in retail for a long time. You're a retail
That's
warrior,
right.
so that
Yeah.
you may plumb from those depths as well if you prefer.
Yeah. Yeah. I can tell a quick story. I used to work for Victoria's Secret. I was a manager over there. And that's its own, I'm sure it could
You
be
meet
its
the
own
criteria.
podcast. I met it and I exceeded it. Um, so we had a group of girls in the store who were exhibiting what we call theft behaviors.
Oh,
And they were definitely like, they bunch up, they sort of this thing. And so being the manager, I had to try to train people. And I'm like, okay, I went to one of members of the team. Could you customer service them, just to make sure that they're finding everything all right?
mhm,
Oh, okay, okay, I get it.
mm.
And so a little bit later, we got a call to the store. And it was from the mom of one of these teenage girls who were in. I mean, it was shoplifting.
Let's be clear.
The record,
It
just
was
for the record.
shoplifting.
But the mother, I guess, was more upset with us. How dare you accuse me? So basically, we were threatened. She
Mm.
said, when you get out of work tonight, blah, 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 blah. So we had to have mall security escort us
She's
outside after this. And I was like, I know this ain't real, but like, whatever. We had them escort us out and like nothing happened. But like, I've never been threatened at work, especially because it's like you should know your kid. You should know
the mother of the criminal threatened your physical safety.
the mother of the grim. Yeah, yeah. But that was retail, man. Victoria's Secret retail at that. I got stories for days.
Is it true you are not allowed to chase people if they run away with merchandise?
This is true. This is true. You are not allowed. Exactly.
There's a no chase
Exactly.
policy.
There's a no chase policy. So, like, if you don't get them, we used to have theft rings. We used to get calls from the stores that are like, hey, these people are coming from Connecticut. They stole a bunch of bras. They're coming to return them to you. So just be
Wow.
on the lookout for XYZ thing, So
Contraband undergarments.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Hey, everybody out there likes Victoria's Secret. Don't steal.
How about just
Or
everybody in
I don't
general?
work there anymore. I don't work there anymore. Do what you want.
Okay, let's get back on track.
Let's get back
JP,
on track.
at what point did you become more outspoken within CS and online? Was that after this last customer success role you had, or what prompted that?
Honestly, I'd say my involvement with CS Insider, really great group of people. I'd had my experience with the first company I worked at, A to B. Shout out to them. I was just sort of thinking about maybe I'm not an expert, I'm not an expert and I'm not going to pretend to be one, but I still believed in my ability to contribute. That's really where it started. I just began to say, like, what's me? What's true to me? What can I do? And really, a lot of that was just, I wanted to put smiles on people's faces. I wanted them to just present something that was a little more, yeah, it's informative and it's there. But, we had so many layoffs recently. And I thought, like, it would be just great for people who may be having a tough time. I just would hope that the content I put out on LinkedIn was just, somehow helpful or somehow gave them a smile. So,
And I think that's a natural connection point for where you ended up, which is writing horror stories about customers churning.
yes, the churn. Thank you. Thank you. The churn, folks. Tune in. I'm supposed to put out chapter 3 today, but I'm,
Well, that's right. You
I'm,
said you still
I'm,
got some work to do.
I,
That's okay.
I still got some work to do. Let me see what I can do for today. But yes, yes,
JP, do you want to jump into some current event topics?
let's go.
JP, I'm going to give you one guess. What is the hottest topic out there right now?
AI.
No, you're wrong.
AI, Chat
You're
GPT.
wrong.
Come
You're
on.
wrong.
Really?
Yeah.
What is it?
Spy balloons.
Yeah. Okay. And yeah, yeah, yeah. And the greatest, yeah, spy balloons. Yeah, yeah. What were we doing? What were we thinking? Yeah, yeah. You're right. You're right. It's crazy.
They found more as of at the end
They
of the
found
week.
more.
At the end of the week, they
Man,
found more.
balloons are never going to be the same. Now, I may need to
I
become a
know.
CSM for a balloon company
They're
at this point.
ruining balloons for everybody.
Hey,
My son's first birthday is coming up. I'm not having any balloons.
no more
You're
balloons,
not gonna
yo.
lump me in with
That's
that.
it.
Mm-mm.
Nah, we're done. No helium, no nothing.
Nothing. Okay. Well, so you called out AI. That's not on my list. And
Mm.
is that because of what the primary topic was of the CS Speed Mixer on Thursday of this last week?
I mean, I feel like the primary topic was because it is spreading. Personally, I'm still, I think, thinking about how I'm gonna utilize it. But I've seen so many different products already highlighting an AI feature that they have.
Can
Yeah,
I
go
ask you
ahead.
something?
Yes,
I'm a bit of a cynic in this regard. You're going to hear it in this question.
please. Yeah, be cynical.
Do you believe that they are highlighting AI purely for its powerful capabilities, or are they highlighting AI because it is one of the primary topics of conversation in the larger population today?
Mm, that's a good question. I think that with any technology, we largely saw a lot of applications were free coming up, but like even Chat GPT, I heard, is switching to like maybe a freemium model
Yeah, they are.
going forward.
Hmm.
And so if you have any investment in AI, then it's like, well, then this is the time to, like, of course, talk it up. So I think that there is for sure something going on in terms of like the zeitgeist, because I think that AI is one of those areas, as far as a species. I don't want to get too deep, but like I know when you say as
Oh,
a
go deep.
species, you about to go
Go
somewhere
deep.
else. All right. But as a species, right now we've been sort of like what's been the frontier. Like you've seen Terminator 2, you've seen Skynet, we've
Mm-hmm.
seen like this sort of the Matrix, one of my favorite movies. I mean, the Matrix and Blade are like 1A, 1B, like on any given day. So I think it's a fascinating horizon to explore. I think that we're dealing with, okay, in one hand, there's a fascination because we can use it for something, but then there's this, I think there's also a fear of sentience and what are the
Sure.
consequences
Sure.
of that
Yeah.
sentience. And then you start talking about, well, what exactly is sentience, and like, is this even a possibility for what's going on? And I think that like all this is coming down, it's a lot for people to digest right now. Why not just be like, hey, we have a product, you can use it here.
As this conversation continues, I am finding it more and more humorous,
Mhm.
particularly because as we all become familiar with ChatGPT in a way that I just never thought I would be,
Yeah.
there's this deeper level conversation of people who now they're giving tips on how to write the best prompts for ChatGPT.
Mm.
And it has me wondering whether we might spend our mental energy better by thinking of how to best serve our customers. I can write a great email
Hmm.
and then I can turn that into a mail merge that slightly changes the data points for each one of my customers I want to hit,
Right.
and I
Right.
don't have to consult articles and so-called experts on how to write a prompt for ChatGPT who's going
Yes.
to write it not in my style, and so I'm going to have to edit it anyways.
Right. Hmm.
I'm
Limits.
I'm over ChatGPT. Can I provide that hot take to you? I'm over it.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think it's a thing.
Hey, you're over it. That's great. That's
So
great.
I
No, that's great.
hey, look,
Hey, I like it.
so I just
It's
trashed
not like it's
your
the toilet. It's not like it's the toilet.
I trashed
Like,
your topic that you brought to the table. I apologize,
it's not
JP.
my time. I ain't made no chat GPT. It's not my time. I just said what I see. It ain't nothing to do with me. I don't lose no money or no sleep over chat GPT. Trust me.
This is going to be the theme of today though, because my next
Mm,
topic I'm also kind of
mm,
tired of hearing about. And not because it's not important, but how
mm.
about the conversation around revenue for customer success practitioners? I think it's very
What do you mean by
important.
that?
I think it's
Yeah,
very
yeah.
important, but I think we're starting to spin our wheels with the revenue
Yes.
conversation. I think we
Yes.
all can agree that we ought to own revenue or a piece of it. All right, let me be clear. A piece of it.
Yes. Agreed.
In your previous role, were you responsible? Did you have a quota or anything kind of similar to that?
Actually, because in my previous role there were not a lot of KPIs at the time,
Hmm.
that was the only thing that we were responsible for. Now, I didn't have a responsibility necessarily individually, but we had a responsibility as a team. Working in a very early stage startup where, to be quite frankly, it's like, yes, there's a CS team, but like as opposed to sales, where you can easily see the value that people are bringing or not bringing in, CS was sort of very nebulous. And so some of the things that I was a part of in terms of the sprints or the tasks we undertook were about how do we increase revenue. And then, the way that we did that, using sort of some different things, for example, basically like negotiating usage-based pricing to get their spending up. And so, we were tasked with seeing, I think just for example's sake, maybe going from bringing in 800,000 a week to bringing in 1.2 million a week. So making that jump,
So
it was a collective task.
it was expansion. It wasn't just retention,
Right,
right?
right,
Interesting. Uh,
yeah.
what do you think about being responsible for a piece of revenue as a CSM? Do you like that challenge, or do you? I think a lot of people assume that customer success will start to have the same sort of pressures as a sales team.
Mm.
What's your opinion?
Pressure is pressure. CSMs are, of course, there's pressure. There's already pressure. I think that sales, they're used to a certain kind of pressure because with the quotas that they have, they're very motivated to deliver a certain bottom line. I think that this is a byproduct of a recession, whether you believe that it's a recession or not. I don't know if that's like astrology where people are like, I don't believe in it, but it's like, well, here's the evidence. That's another topic. Um, I'm perfectly fine with owning some revenue. I think that like actually in my new position, like we are going to be owning somewhat of the revenue.
Mhm.
I think what the key is how it's structured that you own revenue. I think that that is the most important thing. I don't think it's a bad idea at all to have us linked directly to revenue. I think that that also helps us as CSMs, to be honest, because the more that we can talk directly to the impact that we have on business,
Mhm.
the better that we will be able to really sustain our function that we provide to businesses. And I heard this coming also like over a year ago as far as the whole revenue thing. So it's
Yeah,
just coming to pass.
it's a drumbeat that's getting louder and louder, and I think right now we're hearing it so much because of the recession that's not a recession.
Right, right,
And I tend to agree with you in that, first of all, having something that tracks your performance, whatever it is, KPI of any variety, super valuable, super important for folks who are
right.
goal driven in that way or numbers driven in that way. But I also agree that there's the way in which it is done, the motion through which you achieve that revenue is super important. I also think a lot about the level of accountability that customer success can hold other groups to,
Mm.
which is often
Oh,
is very difficult. It's very difficult.
yes.
Working in a company, everybody's on the same team, but for a customer success practitioner to sell is very different. So Marcus Wrench actually talked about this in last week's episode. He said they are diametrically different, the first sale versus any following sales, because the first sale is based on unfounded expectations, and not unfounded like they're false, but there's no way to prove them truly until you get in there
Right.
and you use the product or the service. But everything after that is based on the experience they've had thus far. If that experience sucked, well, then we got to be able to hold people accountable for the fact that we can't sell anything.
Right. So you're talking about the sort of any ways that we can, whether it's through incentive or structure, to make sure that sales and CS are linked, that they go as each other goes, right? Are you speaking to like this rift that sometimes we have between sales and CS, where sales is allowed to overpromise, like you said, with this
Well, that's
nebulous
a whole other
idea, and
thing.
then okay, okay,
That's a
okay,
whole other thing. I'm actually talking more about
okay,
product,
okay,
or any other department that delivers upon the service. So in SaaS, it's typically product. A lot of SaaS
yeah,
companies also have services arms, and customer success needs to be able to keep those folks accountable. If those machines are
yeah.
not running efficiently, customer success can never succeed at what it does. That's my
Which is goes
opinion.
back to the whole thing where it's like customer success is not just a customer success department thing. It's got to be a company culture, and I think that that's the linchpin:
Mhm.
accountability.
You ready? I got another one that I'm tired of hearing about because
Yeah,
I'm in a bad mood. Didn't I tell you, JP?
come on,
I'm in a
yeah,
bad
come on.
mood
I love
today.
it. I love it.
Who thought the CFO wasn't going to be involved in somebody spending his money?
I mean, that's what I mean. It's like people are doing news flashes. It's like,
Hey, the
hey,
CFO
news
is going to
flash,
know if you're asking for money. The CFO is going to
right?
know.
My take on this is just gonna be like, look, content. Sometimes people just got to put out content, and
Mmm.
people
That's what we're
just
doing
like,
here.
yeah, but this is good content. This is not like that other content out there. This is the
Okay.
best content.
Thank you.
This is a
Thank you.
lifetime value podcast, baby. I think it's sort of similar with some of these like talk tracks that we hear, whether it's a CFO or other things that involve CS, just because it's like people are trying to keep relevant, keep the content coming. Maybe that's just what should we call it? Buoy content. It's just like to help keep you floating. It's not like the real juicy stuff. It's not like the sunken treasure ship content. It's just like Buoy, just keeps us afloat. So everyone's just talking about that, and
You call
they'll
it
eventually switch.
buoy content. I call it
Buoy.
content. What I think is interesting about the CFO thing, and I wrote this after, I was perusing the internet, and I
Mm.
think I saw
Oh Lord.
4 posts in a row about the power of the CFO. You would have thought the CFO is a new goddamn position. Like, we never heard of this before. This dude's been around forever.
Yeah, I mean that's why this is like why are we doing this? It's con. I that's literally. I'm serious. The only thing I can think of is like it's content. Put out the content. If people are clicking on it, put it out. You
Hmm.
know, but not like this. This is the best content you ever going to get,
That's
folks.
all right.
Lifetime value podcast. Dillon Young. We're doing stuff that nobody else is doing out there. So stay tuned, y'all.
Yeah, just
This
talking
is
a lot of
different.
shit. This is a little bit of a different format than I'm used to. I think I'll put a period on the CFO thing. I think they absolutely have a place in the conversation. It's very high level. You always have to be prepared to speak on value at every level of the organization. The value that you provide, your company provides at every level of the organization.
Yes.
And I think we're focusing on the CFO because of the tightening of the belts, right? Money's not
Yes.
cheap anymore, so on and so forth. The same thing you're going to hear for a while. But if you're a good CSM, this is just my opinion, maybe it's a hot
Yeah.
take. If you are a good CSM, you understand the way your customer's business functions, you should be able to speak to the CFO about the value that your system provides, even if it does not directly impact the CFO.
Yes, but do CSMs have the ability to articulate that efficiently?
Well, that's their job.
This is absolutely. But I think that is the one area. Like I took a revenue ops course through HubSpot, and just that little sort of like it was only like an hour and a half of my time, but there was a lot that I learned in terms of how you present these things to members of the C-suite that have the attention span of let
Yeah.
me let me
Yeah.
let me just I don't think that that's like necessarily a bad thing. I'm not trying to down CFOs, obviously. I'm just saying that when you have someone where they're like, I need you, just like with your customer, you need to articulate value,
Mm-hmm.
give them the value quickly. These people are used to how are you going to articulate that quickly? And I
Mm-hmm.
think that for some folks, there's a temptation to include or focus on information that isn't particularly pertinent to furthering that justification.
Yeah, I want to make sure everybody out there heard that. What JP is saying is you've got to tailor your message to the audience. The CFO is a different audience. I have this rule of, it's not a rule of thumb. It's probably some sort of like inverse formula. But the higher the person is on the ladder, the less sentences you use with them.
Yes. Yeah, I like that. That is exactly correct.
Yeah.
Exactly correct. But I may be low on the ladder, but don't come to me with a whole bunch of paragraphs either. I don't want to hear that stuff.
You're just impatient. You're not busy. You're
Yeah,
just
yeah,
impatient.
yeah. I don't want to hear it. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like, keep it a couple sentences. I'm gonna try to do the same with you.
Yep. Keep it tight.
Keep it tight.
JP, I want to move on to the next segment. I think we've been doing this the whole time, but let's put a name to this. This is BS in CS.
Oh yes. Oh yes. I've been waiting for this.
So,
This is my favorite part of this. This is my favorite part of this. I've been waiting for the BS. Come on, baby. Let's do it.
so JP, if you had to choose one, what is the trend, catchphrase, or otherwise related to customer success that you would like to see done away with?
Everybody talking about the CFO. No, no, no. Hold on, hold on. No,
I took that one.
I got. I would say that like I understand that people are coming to see CS all the time. New people are coming in. I don't want to necessarily judge the content I see from my lens or my view, which is where I'm like, come on now. But there is a plethora of like, here's what CS is and here's what CS is. You know what? I honestly feel like CS is freaking everything. When somebody says CS is not customer support, my number one thing is like, okay, I kind of get what you're saying, but like, you think if a CEO has one of their friends using their service or whatever, and they need something done, you think that that person is not doing customer support? Of course they're doing customer support because they're going to help them to like get what that solution is. In fact, they're probably going to send an email that has a whole lot of weight to somebody over in customer support like, "Hey, I need you to take care of this ASAP."
He's a
Did that
VIP.
CEO not participate in customer support? I understand it's in terms of like we don't want the functions to get blurred in terms of like all the something you do all the time, but like I just see a lot of like here's what CS is, here's what it isn't. We know the real answer to everything is it depends.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of company are you working for? Some people
Mm-hmm.
are trying to use CS at a company that's not SaaS, it's not subscription based. It's going to look very different. And we have some people. You said you're doing mortgage fintech,
Mm-hmm.
basically,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Well, then that may look very different. There was a company I interviewed for in this process. They make a software that's like really cool. It's part of fintech, but that is native to spreadsheets, and it's really cool. But that's a totally different like thing. So they're gonna have a structure that is different. So I would say sort of some of the blanket statements that just sort of get made. I guess that's putting pressure on people to actually put out actionable, valuable content. I don't want to be the person in the room to be the shakeup because, like, I understand. Sometimes you just got buoy content, baby.
If it's all buoy content, that's something else.
Yeah,
What do you think
yeah,
about
we need
this?
some new.
I'm thinking of like how else can we make it very clear who these content creators are talking to? Because
Yes.
they are technically correct for a mature company.
Yep.
CS only does certain things. They're
Right.
technically correct for a pure SaaS company,
Right.
only does certain things. But there are 10% of companies fit into that category and 90% do not. And so all these folks are out here, they're consuming this content and they're like, yeah, that's not my job. Right.
Right.
It almost
Right.
sows discontent when they go back to their job and they're like, why do you want me doing that? I read,
Right.
Joe Schmo on LinkedIn said, I'm not supposed to do that.
I fell into that trap. I fell into that trap early on. I was like, "Hey, man, why am I doing all this stuff?" And it's like because the company isn't even a year old yet.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
You know,
Because you sit
it's
next
a
to the
company,
CEO
right?
in a
Right. Yes.
in an old
Yes. That's very
storefront.
good. Right. Right. What? Of
This
course,
is
like
not
you're going to
Salesforce.
be asked to do more stuff. Like like that's the nature of the business, and you will find your way out. Just as a warning to everybody watching, you will find your way out very quickly if you want to be in CS and not understand what time it is. You need to understand what time it is.
And I think maybe the positive takeaway there is, and I've had this conversation before in this segment with other folks, just always be questioning. Is that
Yeah.
information targeted
ABQ.
towards you? Is that information motivated by something that
Yep.
doesn't apply to you? Is that
Exactly.
person selling you something? That happens a lot.
Right.
A lot of people out here selling courses now, JP. It's only a
Trying to
matter
get in
of
my
time
pockets.
before you start selling the churn subscriptions, chapter subscriptions.
The churn. The churn will always be free. That's straight. The churn is straight buoy content, baby. Straight buoy.
All right, JP, let's start wrapping things up. So, I want to ask you to call out a colleague of yours, a CS player of the week. Who out there is moving the customer success profession forward in the past 7 days in your mind? Who do you want to give a shout out to?
Wow. So I love all y'all. Let me start off with saying I love all y'all. Please, the like 100 other people I don't mention, you are all fabulous as well. But I thought about this and I'm going to go with Carly Agar. The reason is we have a lot of people who are looking for work. I don't want to sound just like silly about layoffs. This is a real, really important thing. Carly is doing a lot of work for free. She does have an accelerator program you can pay for that I've heard is really great. But she's doing a lot of work for free. A lot of the content she posts, I love seeing it because there's no BS. She's always giving something of value. So if I'm going to highlight anyone, it's going to be Carly because I only get one. All my other people, please don't kill me when this come out. Like I love all of y'all. A lot of you are also doing great stuff, but I'm going to give it to Carly Agar.
Well, I got to tell you, God bless you for following the rules because I don't think a single other guest has. They always call out more than one. Too
Wow.
late.
No,
Can't
no,
do it.
yep.
All right.
I already
Moving
broke
on.
one of the rules, so
Moving
I did.
on. Well, this is. I feel like the rules are meant to be broken, particularly in this case.
Yeah.
All right. Referrals and recommendations. If you could take the audience members and point them in the direction of any one thing, and it does not have to be customer success related, it could be a book, a
Mm,
podcast, whatever,
mm.
or an activity like a cause you're passionate about or
Oh, okay.
anything. You just want to tell them to do something. So it could be something
Okay.
you enjoy. It could be something you hate. Maybe you wish ill upon the audience members. That's fine
Oh my
too.
God! I do not wish ill upon. I wish the best for all of you. This is what JP does. I wish the best
I
for
know.
everybody.
I'm trying to put you in a
Seriously,
box.
you trying
Put
to
you in a
put me in a
box.
box? I won't be boxed, baby. Um.
What would it
So
be?
I would say, look, learn as much as you can about business. I always see you can be CS for life. I think that's awesome. It is such a wonderful opportunity to get up and close with people who are running in businesses, involved in running businesses. So I feel like the more you understand about the way businesses function, that's going to help you in your business as well as the customers you serve. It can only add value to your arsenal. There is a book called Seeing the Big Picture by Kevin Cope that I think is they call it like an MBA in a book, and it's really short. But I love short books. That means you're not BSing. So any books that that they're on strategy, just sort of these other. I'm not going to mention the books that you all probably have heard about a million times because they're out there. But any way you can educate yourself about the way businesses run and what's needed is going to help to develop your acumen and your ability to get in front of issues before they arise with customers because you will have said perception. So that's going to be my one recommendation.
I think it also lets you talk the talk, if I could add to that, right? You might not be a
Mm,
business owner. You might not be an SVP, C suite, but you know what makes them tick. They're just humans, right? And the more you can talk that
exactly.
business talk, and I agree with you. You could be in CS forever. I love CS for a lot of reasons, but one of the primary reasons is for its ability to expose you to so many different businesses.
Yes. Yes.
You don't get that in
Can't
accounting.
sleep on that.
You only got one P and
Exactly.
L in accounting, but in CS, I
Exactly.
get to see how they're all doing things.
Right. Don't take that for granted, folks. That's one of the big jewels of being customer success. Again, this is what excites me about it is because I can learn from these different companies and it just gives me a level of insight that's just really great.
Yeah.
Oh, I just thought about somebody I could have mentioned as
Nope.
well, but that's okay. Can't do it. It's over. It's over.
JP, where can folks connect with you?
You can find me at www.linkedin.com/in/Jean-Pierre Frost. All together. I took the hyphen out just for you, baby. Jean-Pierre Frost. Look me up there. That's where I live. I
I'm
may come out with the podcast later this month. I don't
uh
want to commit to it, but I don't. So
uh
just find me on LinkedIn. Just do that.
you're gonna have to let me know about that podcast.
I will.
Do a little
Yeah,
cross
yeah.
promotion.
I will. Briefly, I'll just say that podcast is going to be.
Hey,
If I want to
you're
say
putting
it, I don't
yourself in
know
a
if I want to
box
say
here.
it now. Yeah,
I think
I
you
know,
have
but
to.
it's gonna be different, but it's gonna be very like I think people are gonna really enjoy it. So come to Lifetime Value, check out this podcast because it's awesome, and then come on over to my podcast when I come out with that later. You'll be covered in this customer success thing. I promise you.
So is it going to be about customer success?
It's going to be related to customer
All right.
success. And I'm gonna the one thing that's constant that I know is gonna be there is gonna involve culture. It's
Got it.
gonna involve culture. So we're not just gonna be talking strictly about like the topics of success. It's gonna be more about people's cultures and what they bring to success. So it's a little
Oh,
more intimate focus.
I
Yeah, yeah,
dig it.
yeah,
I dig it.
yeah.
Furthest
And
I
everyone's got a
goes.
culture, right? Everyone's got some kind of culture, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted it to be something where I could have, lots of people come on and they could just talk about their culture and yeah. So that's it.
All right. So I know you haven't started yet, but where can folks learn about Canary?
Oh yeah, you can go to www.qnary.com.
Like it. And how about CS Insider?
Yes, look up CS Insider on LinkedIn. Just type in CS space Insider. We have so many things always going on. We have an event coming up on the 21st.
Is that rock, paper, success?
Crunch time, rock paper success. We're coming. It's gonna be great. I don't want to say the guest because I don't want if somebody drops out or can't make it. But I will say that it's gonna be super awesome. Please come check it out. I will be your host for that. So we're gonna have a good time. It's gonna be about the evolution of CS. So where we've come in the past, where it could be going in the future, and how to best prepare yourself in the present for what's to come.
How do you
So
sign up for that? You just go to the CS Insider LinkedIn page?
yeah, go to CS Insider. We should be making an announcement shortly. You should be able to. We'll usually provide a link where you can sign up through Luma. I think that's the service we
Yep.
use.
Yep.
I'm gonna tell you though, we got like 100 people for the Zoom, and there's already gonna be 4 people taking these 5 or 6 people, so we got 94 spots. So please come check this out if you want to see it live. If not, don't worry, I got you. We will have it recorded and we will share that later as well.
Very nice. JP, it's been an absolute pleasure. You bring a phenomenal energy.
Yeah, man. Hey, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I love what you're doing, with this podcast and I can't wait to see like where you go, where what it evolves into. So, hey man, you
Appreciate that.
got a fan over here.
Thank you, JP. I'll be talking to you soon.
All right, sounds good, man. Everybody, you have a wonderful week, weekend, whatever time it is. JP is rooting for you.
I love it.
You've been listening to Lifetime Value, the podcast for customer success professionals. If you like what you've heard, please rate our show and subscribe wherever you find your podcast. Please note that the views expressed in these conversations are attributed only to those individuals on this podcast and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of their respective employers. For all inquiries, please reach out via email to dillon@lifetimevaluepodcast.com. Find us on YouTube via our channel, Lifetime Value, and find us on the socials at Lifetime Value Podcast. Until next time.
Hey, can I get you to do one more thing for me? I want you to do a little call out for Lifetime Value. Say your name
Yes.
and you're listening. Just say, hey, this is JP Frost. You're listening to Lifetime Value, the customer success podcast.
Listen up. Stop whatever you're doing. This is Jean-Pierre Frost, aka JP. This is the Lifetime Value Podcast. It is the customer success podcast you need to be listening to. Stop what you're doing and click on the link.
In one take. Don't need another one.
Hey.